So without further ado, Mapanya Sogoni, welcome.
Thank you. It's nice to be here. Thank you to the organizers for the invitation. Thank you for all buying the tickets. I heard the event is sold out. And I must say, doing robbery, hijack, theft is not nerve-wracking than standing in front of all of you. Because you are all powerful, you are all amazing, so it's really, I just want you to be aware, I'm terrified right now, but I'll try my best. And I've got a special request. I have a special request to bear with me because my English is not the best, neither my Xhosa. I spent, when I'm thinking overall, 17 years of my time, I spoke Shalambombo, other people call it Shalanziz, which is the language, it's a code language that is used in prison. So please bear with me. My English might have a fusion of Shalambombo. Thank you. Yeah. My name is Mapanya Sogoni, born and raised in Gugulethu. I grew up in a family with both parents, beautiful mother, a hard worker, and aside, I have a father who is a father, but never a father. And it took me several years to understand why he was a father in his presence, but still never played the role of a father. My father, all his life, was a gangster outside and also was a prison gang, and his elder brother before him. And I grew up in Gugulethu in a community where was most influenced by gangsterism. And I remember now, in the late 80s, 90s, my vicinity in Gugulethu was called Soweto. And on the radios, people will tell you, after 7 o'clock, you don't walk that particular area. Not because of apartheid or toy, all those things, but because of the violent gang that was happening. And because my father was a gangster and he had a huge reputation, there was a lot at stake for me. There was a lot of expectation from the people in the surrounding that I must carry over the legacy of my dad. And of course, I did. I became worse than him. So that's a little bit about where I come from. I was a member of the 26 since 1994. 94 till 2009, all those years, I never spent a Christmas with my family outside. Prison was my family. So that's where I come from. Can I tell you something? Can I? Thank you. Last year, came from Sweden, in Stockholm, a social economist to interview me, to grill me, to assess, to measure the cost I have costed the state while I was living a career of a criminal. Ingvar came down south. He grilled me. he interrogated me. He's better than the CIAs. I was forced to go back to the life I led as a criminal and other incidents I didn't want to face. But because of the importance of the job that he was doing, I was forced to go there. He just finished to compile the whole report about my criminal career, and guess how much I cost South Africa? 30 million rand. 30 million rand. And remember, I'm not unique. How many kids, how many other Mapanyas who are out there roaming the streets of Cape Town, who are in Joburg, Soweto, go Alexandra, are still costing the state? Which means South Africa every year is losing billions to people like me. So I want you to really think about it and think, what can we do to prevent further Mapanyas to exist in our beautiful country? It's a question. I leave it with you. You are all students, academics, philosophers, PhD, doctors. Come up with ideas. What can we do? The solution whenever there is a problem. Let me go to prison. When I was convicted to a 15-year sentence, I believed that there's no more future for me. I went to prison. I solely concentrated to grow in the ranks of the gangsterism so that I can be a dominant leader among the 26. And this I have achieved. I became one of the most influential young inmates in the Western Cape, that even the minister of that era, Balfour Ngonde, knew my name. While I was in prison, I was chased away from Paulsmoor. Many prisons in the Western Cape refused to accept me. There's one prison called the Yeldestrom, it's in Caledon. They accepted me. And when I arrived in this prison, I felt that the prison was different. I felt that now I was living in an apartheid era. It was a different prison. In that prison, I've been many a times in segregation till they realized that segregation is not working on me, because while I'm in segregation, we still influence violent, fraud, drugs, robberies, you name it, because the prison is a world of its own, with its own politics and economy. So the prison wrote a request to the minister that I must be locked in solitary confinement. In solitary confinement, you can only be locked till to 3 months. I stayed 1 year, 7 months. And take a black man into solitary confinement and you play opera music or classic, you break him. He's dead. Because it's more than foreign, it's the worst music that the black man wants to hear. They did it with me. But because I was scared, I've seen few inmates before me who went in solitary confinement. They came back lunatics. They came back, they were motivated, they get motivated medication. They all went sick. So I was also scared to go through the same routine. So instead of fighting the environment, instead of fighting the music, I embraced the music. And I started to realize it's the most intelligent, sound, calm music. With this, I managed to cope in the solitary confinement. But they did one big mistake. They allowed me to study. They gave me access to a library every day. And I always tell them in all their events when they invite me, the biggest mistake you did was to allow me to study in solitary confinement, because you just made me a giant. So I studied. While I was studying, completing my matric in isolation, every day I go to the library. And when I say to you, I read most of the fiction books, believe me, I did. Because I had nothing else that kept me sane, was only reading. Till I felt I needed something inspiring. I needed something different. I didn't want fiction. I wanted reality. So I decided to take biographies. And I keep on taking biographies of great people. I read anything, I was exposed to philosophy of Socrates, Aristotle, and all crazy things I never heard. And I knew that they exist. Karl Marx, Das Kapital, all those crazy things. While I was there was a book, a small book, with a brown, covered in a brown paper. Not attractive at all. I took this book one day. I opened it. There was only one word, the path. I took it in my prison cell. I read it. I didn't understand it. I reread it. It was speaking about ego and pride. And to me, I didn't even know what was the meaning of ego and pride. But after I grasped the concept of the book, I still believe I died. Because after I understood what the book was trying to tell me, I renounced everything that I stood for. I renounced gangsterism. I renounced culture. I renounced being black. I renounced being South African or African. I just became a son of the universe. People in prison used to call me a Buddha. They used to call me a monk. They called me names because suddenly the same fellow inmates couldn't understand me. I was speaking a different tongue. That's how I managed to shift my life in prison. Let's leave prison. Let's talk about the idea. Let's talk about the vision. And without no offense, I don't want to contradict no one's ideas or anyone's vision. But I'm speaking from experience. Being a child raised in a post-apartheid was affected by apartheid, grew up in the social illnesses of our community. What can we do? So the opportunity came through Project Playground, organizations started by two young Swedes. We work with kids. The reason we work with these kids, we want these children to be confident. Because if they are confident, then they will dare to dream. They will strongly believe in themselves that they can be anything that they want to be. And if these kids are confident, then they have no problem, you being from Ghana, you being from Kenya, you being from Sweden, because they see no difference, because they are confident. Then, let's ask ourselves, do we need unity? If we need unity, let's unify ourselves with ourselves. Be confident in who you are. Be confident that you can change the world. Be confident that you can be anything that you want to be. Then you will not be scared of a Nigerian that opens a shop in Long Street. But you will be inspired that how did he do it? I will do it as well, because you are confident. Let's help kids to be confident. One message I want to leave you with. Gugulethu Langa Nyanga, people know me very well. Mining back, most places people know me. When they see me, they always say, Mapanya, you have changed. I always stop them. No, I haven't changed. I became who I was supposed to be. Because then I changed when I became a gangster. Thank you.